We're back again at the Blockchain for Finance, and I'm here with Frank from FXCH.
Yes. FX Clearinghouse.
The FX Clearinghouse, that's very important, that's very true. Of course, I always start with introducing yourself, and I'm sure everyone would like to know who I'm interviewing, so please, would you like to introduce?
Yes. You might hear it in my accent actually. I come from France. I came in 1995 here in Dublin because there was an exceptional opportunity. That's when the IFSC was created.
Yes.
And there was a US exchange called the New York Board of Trade that decided to establish itself here. Before coming to Ireland, I worked in France for a few years in finance, in derivatives and futures, and then I worked in Italy for 3 years, and then I came with this opportunity and I created the first financial services company dealing with futures on currencies here in Ireland. After a few years, we saw different opportunities and we created a trading platform partnering with some international banks to trade these currency futures. I also created, after that, a software company dealing with foreign exchange technology that's running now and actually used by very large banks around the world. Right. In the last 9 years, I was focusing on prime brokerage, FX prime brokerage. That's a business that allows financial institutions that are not banks to actually trade and clear foreign exchange.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you about the clearing house itself. When somebody says that, does that mean, just in case?
Yes, so the foreign exchange market is one of the oldest and definitely the largest that exists in terms of volume traded around the world. But it's also one of the least well organized. The crazy thing is that every FX transaction, whether you do it, I'm not talking about the one you do at the airport, but let's say if you make an FX transaction with the bank, or you buy something to say pay some Japanese company, etc. Every FX transaction is going to be settled. And the settlement is basically the payment of what you bought against the payment of what you sold. So if I have some euros, I'm going to sell euro and buy yen, for example, to pay my yen provider that's going to ship me some maybe some Japanese tires for my business.
And this is what the business FX Clearinghouse is doing.
Yeah, so yes, exactly. So we think that this is very antiquated and costs a lot of money. Every transaction in the world ends up being a payment somewhere when it's not actually always needed. In fact, maybe 95% of FX transactions don't really need the settlement of the principal. We call it the principal. So if I buy 1 million euro against dollars, for example, I don't necessarily need the 1 million euro. I may be doing this because I think the euro is going to go up, or because I need to hedge some other business transaction that I'm doing, but I'm going to close it and only want the profit or the loss of that transaction. So despite that fact, all the banks are still stuck in this old model where everything gets settled, and it costs a lot of money because you make use of what we call correspondent bank networks. So you have your bank in Japan that's going to move the Japanese yen. They always stay in Japan, but they move between banks. You have your bank in the US that does that as well, and it costs money, a lot of money. We have invented a method of simplification. In fact, we haven't invented it, we just copied it from the futures market, where we have a central counterparty. We keep security deposits from the different members, and the members are trading FX, and we settle in between the members by being the central counterparty. We settle the profits and the losses of their transactions.
Oh, very nice. How long have you guys been going? The company itself?
So FXCH, the startup.
Yes, it's a startup.
Started last year in
Q4
last
startup,
year.
proper
Yes,
startup.
Absolutely. But the reality is that we're using the technology, enhanced technology that we were using for 9 years, so we're in this business already for a long time, but we've embraced the blockchain and made a system that was complicated and very opaque, totally transparent, because now using the blockchain we can record the assets of our members on the blockchain, we can settle and exchange the currencies on the blockchain and make it visible for everyone.
So that's where the blockchain comes in.
That's right.
Your business. Okay.
For our business, the blockchain achieves two things. Generally, a clearinghouse, the role of a clearinghouse is to secure the market, to make the market safer if one of the members was to default, the clearinghouse steps in and protects the non-defaulting parties. Now, if you are pretending to financial institutions that you're going to protect them, and you are a small startup with a small capital base, they have doubts. So in order to placate some of those doubts, we thought that making it completely transparent what's happening to their assets was a good way to gain trust. So we decided to use the blockchain to record the assets so that they are constantly and always visible to the members. But there is also obviously a golden or silver lining, which is also that we can do all the settlements between the currencies they are trading on the blockchain as well. And that in itself is an extraordinary saving.
You mentioned to me before that you're based in Ireland, which is amazing. You're also looking to expand, or you already are expanding internationally? Or
yes.
Do you have any partners, or what are you at with the international routes?
So we're still at the beginning of our growth. I will tell you in a few minutes what's the difficult path, say what are the hurdles, but yes, we're expanding internationally because members, financial institutions that are going to join, generally prefer to join a company that's in their jurisdiction, especially in the United States.
Yes.
Right now we have just created a Hong Kong-based subsidiary, and Hong Kong is very interesting for us to be in the Asian time zone. Also, it's a gateway to China. There are lots of activity over there in the cryptocurrency world. So the Hong Kong subsidiary will be able to clear and settle both fiat currencies, the business we've been always doing, but also cryptocurrencies. In the US, we'll expand probably early next year, and in the US we'll be looking at the traditional business, but going into Delaware, who is the first state that has accepted ICOs and cryptocurrencies and crypto equities as well.
Okay. So pretty much a few countries that's already launching in.
Yes, still the path now to growth. Okay? So somehow we want to revolutionize the way the FX post-trade is done. Okay? So every time we meet a new financial institution, they always like the concept and the idea. The difficulty for us is to find liquidity providers that are ready to join in the concept. Because any new member joining the clearinghouse can trade against other members. And always, like many of these network effect companies, you need to have a certain number of participants to have really something exciting and interesting. So we are in this phase where we are basically traveling and going to the States.
What's in it for
every 2 weeks? Yeah.
Oh, I don't like to go too far. So what's your vision for the next year?
The vision for the next year is to sign up major financial institutions, major names, household names like I don't know, the click here, maybe Citibank, maybe.
There's a few. There's like the big banks.
The large banks, exactly. The banks that people recognize.
Citi will probably connect with Nasdaq or something.
Something like that. But anyway. Every time you convince a large institution, the next institution is more likely to come in.
It's the first one. It's always the first one.
Always the first one. So that's where we are. We are talking to the big guys and hoping they join. There is an army of interested parties as the takers, the customers. They are all interested. Yeah. On this side, we have been obviously taking with us the customers that we have accumulated through the 9 years. But the bigger players, that's where we're focused for the next project.
Great. Mark, one of the things I like to do before we finish off is to talk about, I like to end up with a discussion about Ireland. Now, this is perfect for you because you are someone who is moved to Ireland. I know for a while now, you've been 20 years, which is amazing, a lot longer than I have. And you have, and I love to tell anyone who's watching it outside Ireland, how is the ecosystem, especially from a startup and a blockchain point of view?
My experience has been extraordinarily positive. The Irish environment is extremely welcoming. When I arrived in Ireland, it was to establish a financial service company, and I met with the central bank, one of my first meetings. The central bank is the regulator here in Ireland. And the first meeting happened like this. We sat down and they said, gentlemen, how can we help you? I mean, you will not see that in any other country in the world. So the environment in Frankfurt, in as you can see, obviously all the large technology companies around the world have set up in Ireland because that's the best place to begin. If you're not too worried about the weather, then Ireland is really the best place to
One of these things we do is, first thing in any discussion you'll have in Ireland, you meet someone on the street, it's like, oh, the weather. It's always the weather. We always talk about the weather in Ireland.
Yes, if somebody wants to know, yes, it does rain every day, but for a very short period.
You get used to it eventually.
I'm talking 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's like 15 minutes of dryness maybe. So I'm going to end this. Thank you so much, Frank, for coming on my YouTube channel, and hopefully I'll send you the link. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Brilliant. We're back again at the
Blockchain for finance.